canopy, the lanterns flicker slow. Three shadows seated where the darkling rivers flow. Footprints in the mud, a question in the trees. We trade our secrets to the Idahoan breeze. The bottle breathes its fire, the amber spirit burns, waiting for the moment that the wheel of mystery turns. Bourbon Legends, Bourbon Legends. The legends never die underneath the Idahoan sky. With every glass we raise, the hidden truth is found, while the spirits of the past rise from the hallowed ground. Conspiracies and spirits, we walk the jagged line, tracing every pattern, seeking every sign. From the mountains to the plains, the whispers call our name. With the amber nectar, we the ancient flame. To the legends we remain. Bourbon Legends.
Welcome back to Bourbon Legends, technically episode 1, since the previous episode was 0.5. We're going to have a maybe tasty bourbon for you today, as well as the moon landing. My wife is trying to creep by off screen so she doesn't end up in camera. So today will be if the moon landing is fake, and we're going to be trying True American Bourbon whiskey. I saw this at the liquor store and we just had to try it. It's got a picture of Mount Rushmore, but also with Trump's head on it. And on the back says, "We the people, in order to salute the true American spirit so that it may flourish in future generations, to embody our founding ideals, the greatest ideals we've ever had, to ordain and establish this liquor as an honor to the Constitution of the United States of America." That was a terrible Trump, but there you go. So we're going to go ahead and try this. We already smelled it. It didn't smell great. So, oh God.
Definitely, it's a harsh smell.
Yeah, as I said, it smells a bit janky. All right, here we go.
No.
Nah.
That is watery.
Yeah. It's got a weird aftertaste to it, too. I think this week we'll rate this on, I don't know what we'll rate it on. Trump toupees. Even though we know that hair is real and glorious, I'm thinking around a 3. I know. Well, see, I always think that things can get worse. So I'd say this one's in between 2 and 3 Trump toupees.
That's it, 2 Trump toupees. There's not a lot of flavor.
No, and it's got like just an alcohol taste in the mouth.
Watery.
Yeah.
Not even the good.
Doesn't really smell that good. The Constitution would not be proud.
This is not true American.
No, but it was, it's not a real American either, as Hulk Hogan would say. You know something, brother? So, yeah, 2 to 3 for me and 2 for Jeff. Not very good. I'll finish drinking this drink, but I'm not going to enjoy it. To wash it down, we have C4s. I have a frozen bombsicle. He's got a blue raspberry Jolly Rancher. All right. Well, that bourbon wasn't very good, but let's get into today's episode. So, as we said, it's going to be about the moon landing. And do we think it's real? So, and we both have opposing point of view, so it's going to work out perfectly this week. So, we'll go over a little backstory. NASA's Apollo program run from 1961 to 1972 with the goal set by President Kennedy in 1961 of landing astronauts on the moon and returning them safely to Earth. Apollo 11 landed the first crew on the moon on July 20th, 1969. Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin walked on the surface while Michael Collins orbited above in the command module. 6 Apollo missions landed astronauts on the moon. Apollo 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, and 17 from 69 to 72. Apollo 13 suffered an in-flight failure and did not land, as shown by the movie. The last three missions, 15, 16, and 17, carried the lunar roving vehicles, a battery-powered moon buggy used to travel several miles from the landing site. And the program cost roughly 25 to 28 billion in the late 60s dollars. One of the largest peacetime engineering efforts in history, employing about 400,000 people across contractors, universities, and NASA centers. 25 to 28 billion in the 60s.
That's a lot of
Cash.
a lot of money. Definitely a lot more buying power back then than it is today.
Yes. So the main thing for this episode is we're going to be talking about if we think that the moon landing is real. Now, Jeffrey does believe that the moon landing is real. I, however, do not believe that it was real. There's too many things, in my opinion, that kind of lead to it looking fake and seeming fake. So I guess I'll go with my anti-take and then let Jeff answer to it, since mine is the more controversial take. So the phone call from President Nixon, right?
Yeah.
Picks up a landline phone and calls the fucking moon.
Everything back then ran off of the switchboard. You could easily connect a landline
To the moon?
to radio.
On the moon. It had like no delay.
No, I'm sure that was edited for time. That way they could make it fit in the segment provided.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's possible, but it just seemed weird that he just picks up the phone and starts talking to astronauts on the moon. Like, with what the technology we had back then, would it have been possible to possibly communicate with him on the moon?
Not instantaneously.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah, it'd be possible. But also, you have to think about, like, would there be any issues communicating through the radiation belt around the planet? Which I know that the NASA said with everything that had to do with the radiation belt, well, we timed it perfectly. I'm like, of course you did, because you're the government.
I mean, they can predict that because, I mean, they can predict when solar flares are going to strike and you're going to see borealis in different places.
The thing is, too, is now we have our technology has advanced significantly since the 1960s, right?
Yeah.
So now it makes sense that they can predict patterns and stuff like that. But back then, it seems like we were running around with black and white televisions and what kind of technology? We didn't have power windows in the cars.
Because that's what makes a generation.
That's what
Taking ashtrays out for
you gotta inhale that smoke.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's one of the smaller nitpicks I had about it. So one of the other ones is, they have the lunar buggies up there, right? The lunar rovers. So what they say powered it, because obviously it couldn't be a combustion engine at all, because there's no such thing as oxygen on the moon. There is in a movie studio, so they probably could have used it. But the thing is with batteries is they generally die very quickly in extreme temperatures. And the moon is extreme temperatures, right? So what kind of battery technology did they have back then that they were able to drive around on lunar buggies on the moon?
I have a rebuttal for this. Look at what's the name of the satellite? It's the one that just recently passed what used to be the planet Pluto on its way out of the solar system. It's still running.
Allegedly. But
We got a photo from it.
But also, we have to keep in mind that it doesn't take a lot, because with zero gravity, once the thing is in motion, it stays in motion.
Yeah.
So they don't need to have thrusters on the whole time to keep it moving.
No. The communications and the photos that it's sending back, it's running off of batteries. It's been in space for what 60 years, 50 years?
Yeah. And like I said, that's you said we have photos, and we do have photos, but that's assuming that they're real photos.
You can insulate batteries.
Hmm?
You can insulate batteries.
That is true.
I mean, look at people in
God,
Liberia.
I took another drink.
I can't believe you're still drinking.
Oh,
I mean,
that drink was even worse.
I believe it.
My eyes watering.
Maybe my stomach hurts watching you drink this.
Now, and I think the thing is too, there's a big difference between a battery that's just communicating signals back to Earth and a battery that's actively powering a vehicle.
True, but I mean, what's the average?
I don't know.
Because I mean, you could adjust those and make it where a very small amount of power can move this buggy up to a certain weight.
Yeah, but I think they would still die quickly, and I don't think they went up there with a bunch of batteries to change out on the lunar rovers.
They probably did die.
Sorry, I took a drink of that. I had to clear my throat a couple times afterwards. And one of the other big things with it is and there's been interviews, right? They're like, oh, we haven't gone back because we lost the technology. How do you lose the technology for something that, when you look at it, it's not that technologically advanced, right? And number two, our technology levels have shot through the roof. Like, look at our aircraft and how much more advanced they've gotten.
I don't know. So the big question is, who stated that we lost the technology?
It was a guy from NASA. I don't know what his name was, but excuse me.
Was he
No, he was an actual scientist, and they were asking him why we haven't been back, and he was like, "Well, we lost the technology, so that like they lost the how to make it and all that stuff." But I was like, none of that stuff seems that complicated when you're looking at the the module, the lunar rovers. I'm like, we have way more complicated stuff than that now.
Yeah, I mean, we've landed a satellite with a small rover on an asteroid, both traveling different directions. And we got within, what was it, like a meter, 3 feet of where they predicted it was going to land. So I don't believe we've lost technology.
Well, I think they're specifically saying they've lost the technology to put people on the moon, which doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't.
That all these years later, 60 plus years later, we're like, oops a daisy, we can't go back up there.
Yeah, I don't think that guy must have been high.
I don't
He
know.
had to have been high.
Well, I mean, I think that we were all high if we believed that people landed on the moon.
They
I mean-
see it. And now comes my rebuttal. One, the lunar rocks that we brought back over multiple different missions. There's nothing chemically or spectrographically that's similar about anything found on Earth.
Well, I thought that they had some samples that showed up as just normal rocks as well.
And some did early on, part of the moon was actually part of Earth. It was
Yep.
just hit asteroid strike hard enough where part of it separated. And that's what we had.
So
Satellite.
you're telling me the Earth had a ball sack at some
And
point?
it had a vestigial head.
Like, I mean, I guess if there was asteroids that could have hit it and deposited small amounts of material like we have on Earth, that's possible. But I mean, I guess it's and the thing is too, you've said, we've landed on other things. Who's not to say that if we did have technology to land something smaller and scoop up a sample and bring it back, I mean, I suppose that's possible rather than putting 3 people on the moon.
We're going to my second point, which is why I believe this is true. We were there. This was during the big space race.
Yeah.
Also happening consecutively with the Cold
War. Yeah, which
The Ruskies hate us.
I know.
But they even verified, hey, like we can verify that this is in fact happening.
Mhm.
We have this
I don't know. I don't know if you saw.
several other independent countries throughout South America, Europe, parts of Asia.
I saw a video from, I think it was from India, where they tried to say that they landed on the moon. It was terrible. They looked like they didn't even try.
Yeah.
You'll have to look that one up later, but it made me laugh. That was more recent, though. That wasn't in the 60s.
No. So we have independent observers who have no tie. Not so much then, maybe to some degree, but they don't really like us or have a reason to back our side on anything. But they said, no, this was real.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why the Russians would lie about it.
No,
I mean that's a good counterpoint. Is since we were literally in a Cold War at that time, why would they admit that we beat them there when that was the whole point of it? Other than the fact that they'd had several astronauts killed
Mm-hmm.
trying to come back.
And they did have their first artificial satellite, which is Sputnik still orbiting, right?
I don't know. I know they did send a monkey to space.
That's true. They were also the first living creature in space to survive. So I mean, they had a lot of, and they were.
Did it die? Or was they sent a dog
They
as
sent
well?
a dog first. The dog was first. It made it, but they had no way to get it back down, so it did die.
Yeah.
The monkey, I'm not sure about the monkey.
You know,
But
just send whatever to space.
Yeah. It comes back. Comes back.
He's okay. He's just for Mother Russia.
So I mean, they had plenty of firsts. There's no way they would willingly like America put people on the moon will be
Unless they had some kind of agreement, which you never know with the government, but it seems unlikely.
Yeah. Especially between these two governments. They're to quote a famous artist, they're hot and then they're cold. They're yes and then they're no. Right.
Katy Perry-ski. So one of the other ones was the Van Allen radiation belt around the Earth, right? That is super high doses of radiation. Now, I don't think that the technology back then, now they said that we timed it so they get through it safely, but I don't think the technology back then, especially coming back, would allow the right kind of insulation on their ship to allow them to go through that without any lasting radiation effects. And it's not like Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong didn't live to pretty old ages.
Yeah.
You know, if you've seen the remakes of them, it looks like it's put together with tinfoil. Now, maybe tinfoil is the best thing ever, but if that was the truth, then you would have saw the Russians at Chernobyl wrapping themselves in tinfoil. Look, no radiation.
I mean, it's supposed to stop aliens from reading your thoughts.
Yes, makes a very good hat.
No, I mean, it probably looks like tinfoil. I'm sure it's layered and there's other things as well. Look at some of the modules that they've been sending out to the International Space Station. It honestly looks very flimsy.
Yeah.
There is a weight consideration considering the amount of thrust you need to get into orbit and everything as well.
They're like, look, we're floating, and then they'll have something that falls at normal speed, and then they're getting caught on their wires. I'm like, come on, guys, what are we doing here? You guys don't gotta pretend you're in space. It's okay. Show us the stars out the window, but we don't have the technology.
I had it.
So that's not even like back then because they weren't filming from inside the ship.
Yeah.
But now on the space stations, you see them, ooh, look at us, we're floating. And then they'll drop an item that falls at normal speed and everyone looks freaked out. Not even like heavy items either, like a ball or a balloon. If it just fall to the ground at normal speed, I'm like, I thought you guys were in 0G. Yeah, there's some, so that's really unrelated, but that's why I said that's a completely different topic. But
that's
like
for the stars. That is something that is mentioned in some of them. You don't see stars in the background of the photos from the moon landing.
Reflection of swamp gases.
It is the reflection off of the moon itself. So obviously we know that is already a thing. You see the moon here in our backyards. It's the reflection of the sunlight on the opposite side of the Earth, reflecting off of the moon's surface. Obviously, you're going to have that same reflection while you're there. So there is a degree, especially the older cameras from the 60s, of overexposure or oversaturation of colors. It's going to drown out the stars that you see on that. So that is a thing. Obviously, we haven't been on the moon recently. So I would be curious to see modern photographic technology taking photos soon and seeing what comes from that.
Yeah. So we're saying the radiation. Yeah, we got way off track, which is fine because that's what this is all about. Right. But the radiation belt, to me, that seems like something that would have been difficult to get through with the technology we had of the day.
And who knows?
Yeah, who knows? Who really knows? That's why Buzz Aldrin was punching people in the face in his 80s.
It's true.
So one of the main things we've talked about is the technology levels, like, computers and stuff back then. So you're having to land these things with basically not a lot of assistance because The computers were not what we have now. Our cell phones that we have in front of us are infinitely more powerful than anything that they had back then.
Yes.
So that's one of the things that always bothered me about it. I'm like, you guys landed on the moon, and then you took off from the moon, and then you safely landed back here on Earth, getting through once again back through the Van Allen belt, and then also getting through our atmosphere without burning up.
Yes.
It just seems like everything has to be perfect, and I don't know how everything could have been perfect on basically every attempt except for Apollo 13. They're like, this is looking too good. We better have one that shows that they messed up so we can make a movie with Tom Hanks later.
It was a good movie though.
It was.
It's something look you can find money. Is that's not every opportunity. Like you're not gonna get the string. You're not gonna get your string play everything. Like you're gonna have your HQ. It can be selective music because people's lives, gigantic budgets, taxpayer dollars all rely on this. You're also going to need to have demonstrable successes in order to keep that going.
Now, you say the taxpayer dollars, but we are well aware of how much they waste taxpayer dollars on everything. Now, I know NASA was a big deal.
Yeah.
But look at everything they waste money on. Look at states like California.
Yeah.
Like you build like 1 mile of rail with like $48 billion.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's the exact numbers, but it's crazy.
It's a large.
It's we the people,
that's why,
as the back of this says, are taxed way too much for way too little return.
But I think that's why they have to have at least one thing that they could show works and does.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, I don't think like NASA back then was considered a big deal, but I don't even know what the point of it is now. It's like a shadow of what it was. Now I know funding's gone way down.
Yeah, it's been,
but it's also been shown now that once again, the government wastes money. Look at Elon Musk's rockets, right? They cost significantly less than what NASA's charging to make their rockets.
And they cost significantly less, and they're reusable.
Yeah, they land themselves.
A lot of the older stuff wasn't reusable. It's just in the bottom of the ocean.
Yep. Oh, that's goodbye technology.
Yep, goodbye.
That's what they meant when they lost technology. It kept dropping in the oceans.
That's probably what.
So one of my other favorite things about this whole thing is, so it lands cool and it flies away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Being video recorded.
So there was a base.
A base.
So there was.
This isn't GoldenEye, bro.
A base to the lander. Like there was a separate section.
Okay. Why did it had a camera on it?
It did.
And that camera on the outside of it just flew through the Van Allen radiation belt, and it just.
Well, because so that part was nestled inside of the section because it separated because there were multiple sections.
But who was controlling the camera?
Probably
because the camera.
Houston?
Well, from Houston controlling a camera on the moon?
Can't.
I don't think so.
We can control drones from California in the Middle East.
Yeah, but we're on Earth.
Yeah, but distance has no impact.
Oh, I mean, but radiation and stuff like that will cause issues.
Radiation and other things like that.
But you have to also ask: did we have radio-controlled cameras back then? I can't.
Why we couldn't have? We were all.
But did we?
Before my time.
I know it was before my time too. But I'm just saying. You see, one of the things is you see when it takes off again, it's like panning after it, like, oh, I'm gonna watch you go. Goodbye. Like, who did they leave on the planet? Or not planet? Who did they leave on the moon?
The planet.
I mean, what? It was the vestigial head.
That's right.
Who did they leave on the moon? Taking pictures.
It's like what is that? It's a Gas X commercial. Guy that ate the beans and toots. Monster comes out. Who's that guy? Like, no, you're not coming back with us.
Yeah, you stink.
It's too cramped.
You have enough gas that you can push yourself back.
That's right.
So, I mean, overall, like obviously you have good counterpoints, but for me, there's too many things that don't really work. for the time period. Like, and there's always going to be explanations for it because that's what the government does, right?
Right.
They lie out their asses constantly. So could we have landed on the moon? I suppose that it's possible. But it's just, to me, with the technology we had and how janky the footage looked, and a lot of other little things that are like, this doesn't really make sense. For me, it's like a 90% did not, 10% did. I wouldn't say 100% didn't, but I'm well into the we didn't go to the moon group.
I'm hesitant to go 100% on anything.
Yes, because it's a government.
Yeah, I would say more along the lines of 75, 25, 75%. I believe we were there.
Yeah.
There's a 25%. Some of the things you were asking. Okay, yeah, the camera about catching it, landing, and everything else. I don't have great explanations why. There might be a reason if I did a little more research specifically into that, but
yeah, it just seems like with the technology we had, there's so many holes. And of course, with the government, you never know. They're always way ahead of the what we are in technology. So we have stuff, they have stuff way before we do. And then years later, like, hey, look at this technology we have since the 60s.
Aliens.
Yeah, from Roswell.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Reverse engineering.
That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Where your joke came from.
That's why they can't do it anymore, because the alien craft self-destructed at some point, and now they're like, oh crap, can't the
Those things they recovered. So why was making all this?
Oh, and he died. Yeah. Wonder which alien it was. Was it a gray? I think it was a gray.
I think it was grays, is what they were saying was that Roswell. Right?
Mm-hmm. So this is completely, I mean, it's kind of related, but it's not part of the what we were talking about today. But I recently saw another conspiracy theory. I was like, that's a pretty good one. It was that the 3 astronauts, Buzz Aldrin, Neil Armstrong, and the guy we always forget his name, third guy, number 3, were actually the 3 escapees from Alcatraz.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah,
the moon isn't on extradition.
So, but if you look at the pictures, you're like, yeah, they kind of look like a little bit younger versions. But the theory was that they escaped Alcatraz, then they were caught, and they were basically told, okay, you're going to assume a different identity now, and we're going to use you to be our astronauts to go to the moon. And if you say anything about it, you're going back to jail. So if you want to stay free, you have to shut your mouth. So it was pretty interesting. I know it's not really
Michael Collins.
That
was number 3.
Nice.
So I wanted to make
Phil
sure
Collins.
We got that out. Phil Collins.
He can
Twin brother.
Feel it. Yeah, it's Phil Collins' twin brother.
He remained in lunar orbit aboard the command module, while Armstrong and Aldrin were the 2 that actually made.
Mm-hmm. Allegedly.
I can admire you sticking to your gun.
I mean, it's been decided. But I found that if you look up the picture of the...
so he never technically landed on the moon, so I don't feel as bad for forgetting him when we're talking about
he just flew around it.
Yeah, he's still orbiting the moon.
Now, if you look up those prisoners from Alcatraz, they actually do have a fair resemblance to them. But, that's a conspiracy. That's a new one. Can't really go fully into that one. I don't know if that's worth an entire episode either.
To be fair, most of the 60s and before
look the same because they came out of the womb smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, like times were hard. People were harder.
Oh, you're 20? Sure am. Has the bowl, the toilet bowl. Yeah. So I think we pretty much went over everything we wanted to with that. Like I said, I don't believe. You believe. But we're percentage based, not 100% for either one. We tried a very not good. It wasn't good. I don't know why they put my face on it. I didn't approve this.
Yeah, you should probably talk to them about this.
Yeah, True American Bourbon whiskey. Not good. So I'm going to finish my little thing because I paid for it. And I'm cheap. So that'll be this episode. We're going to have another episode coming up for you guys later in the next week. It'll be on the Bat Boy. You guys know all about it. So don't know about it because who actually bought those?
Nobody bought them. But if you grew up in the 90s, late 80s, you've seen the tabloids that were in all the grocery aisles. Bad boy.
Yep, that'll be our next episode. So until next time, we will have a better bourbon.
We walk the jagged line, tracing every pattern, seeking every sign. From the mountains to the plains, whispers call our name. With the amber nectar, we the ancient flame. To the legends we remain.